Danny Richardson.
Dylan Schumacher.
Citadel Defense. We're here today to talk to you about the 5 types of pistols.
So basically, this is completely arbitrary, but how we break down pistols is we put them in 5 different buckets. And the reason we do that is it helps us kind of categorize them and figure out what's the best pistol for you in your situation and us in our situation. So starting from the bottom and working our way up, and what I mean by that is the least shootable and controllable, but most concealable, all the way up to the least concealable and the most shootable and controllable. Okay? So number 1, at the bottom, we have what we call pocket rockets. So for this one here, I got a Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 380. This is just here to represent the litany of all those little 380 pocket pistols, right? I mean, this thing is tiny. You can put it in your pocket.
They've gotten super popular.
Oh, super popular. This particular one here has a safety on it. But again, usually you're holding 6 rounds is what this one holds, maybe plus 1 in the chamber. Super heavy trigger, really heavy trigger on this. This is a 12-pounder, I think. On this particular one, I replaced the sights and put in some big dots because originally it had these tiny little black dots sights. It was black on black, really hard to read. But again, because it's so small, physics, right? You got a 380 round in here, which is not a powerhouse round, but because the gun is so small, it recoils. It's going to hurt your hand after you shoot a while, and it's just generally difficult. So I also got the Ruger LCR. Now, again, this one, we're looking at 5 rounds in the gun. Again, on this particular one, I replaced the sight here because, again, it was black on black. I had a really hard time reading that. The nice thing about this particular gun, very, very smooth action on that trigger pull all the way through. However, it's still 12 pounds. You're still looking at a 38 special round in here. Again, not a powerhouse round, but because this gun is so light, I think it comes in at like 13 or 14 ounces. It really will beat up on your hand. They even did some work on this one to reinforce the grip here and give it some extra padding right in the webbing of your hand. But again, because it's just a decent-sized round, decent-sized caliber, in a tiny gun, it'll beat the heck out of your hand. And honestly, after you shoot this gun about 50, maybe 100 times, you don't really want to shoot it anymore. The only reason you'd want to carry these pistols is because you need something that you can just slip in your pocket, and you want to carry somewhere that if you got caught, it would be bad. Maybe you want to carry at your job. Maybe you want to carry somewhere else where you need a very, very concealable pistol. In general...
like maybe you can't fit a holster in your pants because you have a tucked-in shirt or something.
That's possible too, yeah.
Or,
absolutely.
maybe you want it as a backup gun.
Yeah, as a backup gun, I think they're great. If this is your primary go-to gun, I'm going to try to push you further up the ladder.
You know our rule: carry as many rounds, the biggest handgun possible that you can conceal or manage. I mean, based on your situation.
Absolutely.
Okay, now we're on the second category of pistols. That's the personal protection pistols, and that is going to be like this Walther PPS or like the M&P Shield, which it's not my favorite gun, but. So they're small. They're usually got about a 3-inch barrel. They're very easy to conceal. As you can see, this Walther PPS is exceedingly thin. This one's even in .40 caliber. So it definitely beats up your hand. It's not going to be a comfortable shoot. But again, it's super easy to conceal. You're not going to be able to fit it in your pocket, but it's really easy to conceal. And we actually see a lot of people who want to come to our classes with these guns. And when we're not teaching a class that requires a full-size handgun, and people come with these, they usually have a much harder time shooting them than they think they'd have. And people, I mean, we see this all the time. People don't practice. People don't know their limitations and their abilities. But I think it's really eye-opening for people who carry these to get out there on the range and really have to run and gun a little bit and find just how hard they can be to shoot. Now, I did carry this one for a long time. Before I really knew a whole lot about guns, and it worked out for me. Even though it's a hard shoot, you can manage if you practice. So
yeah, and the great thing about the personal protection pistols is, again, because it's a step up that ladder, they are easier to shoot than those pocket carry pistols. The Glock 42 and 43 would fall in that category as well. Those, if depending on how big your pockets are and how big of a person you are, you might be able to fit that one in your pocket. And hey, if it's the difference between carrying 7 or 8 9mm rounds in your pocket or 5 .38 special rounds in your pocket, well, that's pretty clear to me. Yeah. I'd take the 9 any day.
Yep.
Just another example of kind of in that personal protection pistol. This is a Ruger SR22. I would put this one in that category. This is 10 22mm rounds. Again, this gun's got a bunch of things we don't generally like a safety and double single action and all that stuff. But it would fit in that category to us of what we call a personal protection pistol.
And if you're cool, you can get it with the threaded barrel and get a can on there.
That'd be very cool. All right, next up in our category is what we call the fighting pistol. And to us, this is kind of the baseline pistol of what you should have. If Dylan's perfect world, you would carry a pistol this size or bigger all the time. For this, we got the classic G19, right? This is my G19. It's a Gen 4. But to me, this is the smallest pistol I ever want to carry. It's still a pretty full-size gun. You're looking at least a 4-inch barrel on this particular model. You're still going to get to carry 15 rounds, and if you want to top one off, then you can go all the way up to 16. But the nice thing about a gun in that category is it's small enough to conceal, it's big enough to fight with. So you're going to be able to do pretty much everything all the bigger guns can do, but it's still a little bit more manageable for concealment. One of the things about the fighting pistol that is a slight disadvantage is on most of these guns, your hand is going to hang off here just a little bit. Once we get to the full-size duty guns, your hand's going to get to fit on there all the way. But right now with these fighting pistols, you're still losing a little bit. It's comfortable. I can still get a full grip, but that is a slight annoyance that you're going to lose due to the shortened length of the grip.
All right, guys. Now we're on to our duty/combat pistols, and that's going to be any full-size handgun. So like this. My G17 here that I carry on a daily basis, it's going to be any full-size handgun. Mine has 17 plus 1 rounds, like M&P or any full-size gun. And so it's a lot harder to conceal for some people. I can appendix it just fine. I think a lot of people could conceal them more than they think they can if they got the right holster and practice a little bit. But yeah, good for outside the waistband. I don't know. It's just a full-size gun. It's super reliable. It's really easy to shoot. It's got a nice weight to it. Yeah.
The great thing about a full-size carry gun is there's no compromises, right? So see how right here I can get my whole hand to grip that pistol. This is what a handgun should be, ladies and gentlemen. It's a full-size duty gun. You get to carry all the bullets you can on board. You get that full, at least 4 1/4, maybe 4.5-inch barrel.
You can easily throw a light on there.
You can get the huge light on there. You don't have to make any compromises with a pistol this size. So our last category, and we don't have an example for this, but what we call competition pistols, right? These are the tricked out 2011s and the 1911s and the red dot sitting on top where the slide moves and the red dot doesn't. I mean, these are the super tricked out guns. And really, these are just sporting guns, right? These are race guns that people take to win competitions, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I wouldn't want to get shot with one. That being said, we typically don't consider those self-defense pistols in the same category as all the other ones.
I mean, you're playing a game with them. You're not out there to defend your life with it. I mean, maybe people carry them.
Maybe, but with those super hair triggers, I would not. We would not advise that.
That's it. Those are the categories of pistols that we have created to help us identify a pistol and definitely help sort people into the categories of what's possible, what's not possible. And whenever we're helping someone, hey, which category works for you and which one are you going to pick from, we go towards the biggest one they can possibly conceal, or maybe concealment's not an option, but the biggest pistol they can possibly carry.
Our advice for you is start at the top with those duty combat guns and then work your way down until you find one that's going to fit your needs.
Once I switched to a full size a long time ago, which was really the jump into guns for me, I can't go back. I'll never trade however many rounds I have. Not to mention, it's so easy to shoot, you guys. So
get a gun you're going to practice with. Get a gun you're going to train with. Come train with us up here in Minneapolis, Minnesota, or we'd love to come down to wherever you're at.
If you have any questions about gear, or guns that you need, let us know. We'd love to talk to you about it. Thanks, reach us on email, Twitter, Instagram. Thanks, guys.